Now let us see the user experience on an Amazon Echo or an Echo Dot where there is no display interface and the user only gets to hear the voice. In order to play this game effectively on an Amazon Echo or Dot, I highly recommend having a checkerboard kind of a template handy to speed up the game. One of the templates is available on our website www.hungrybirds.app.com, and you don't have to download this, but having a checkerboard of this fashion is going to really help you. Alexa, open Hungry Birds.
Welcome to Hungry Birds. You can say play game or help for instructions.
Help.
A bird is trying to reach its nest by escaping a fox. The bird has to stay on the path filled with worm and corn. When the bird eats a worm or a corn, it performs 2 out of 4 possible moves: fly, sit, turn left or turn right. Your job is to select 2 movements for the bird to perform when it eats a worm, and 2 movements to perform when it eats a corn. One wrong move will take the bird off the path and will get caught by the fox. So, select your moves carefully. You can also check out the help videos and download game board template from our website www.hungrybirds.app.com. Good luck! Are you ready to play?
Yes.
Okay, let us begin a new game. First, draw the game board, just like a chessboard, which is 8 squares long and 8 squares tall. Then, label the columns with letters A to H, and the rows with numbers 1 to 8. Let me know when you are ready.
Alexa, I am ready.
Great! Now, let us mark the worm squares. Put the letter W in the squares C4. Are you ready?
Yes.
Fantastic! Now, let us mark the corn squares. Put the letter C in the squares D4. E4. F4. Are you ready?
Yes.
We are almost there. Now, let us mark the nest square. Put the letter N in the square G4. Are you ready?
Yes.
Finally, to represent the starting square for the bird, put an arrow pointing north, right next to the worm, in the square C4. Are you ready?
Yes. So now that you have completed the game board, you have marked the worm squares, corn squares, a nest square, and also the initial position of the bird, which is represented by an arrow pointing north as instructed by Alexa. We now have to come up with the moves for the worm and the corn. So whenever the bird eats a worm, it is going to perform 2 moves. So let's see the use case here. So we have a worm in C4 and our bird's starting position is C4. So when it eats this worm, it needs to perform 2 moves. So right now it is facing north and its destination is here, which is the N, which is the nest square. So the first move it needs to perform is to turn right so that it starts facing east. So let's write down a R in the worm's first move. So after it turns right, the next thing it has to do is move 1 step forward. So let's say forward. So essentially when the bird is eating the worm for the first time, it performed a right move followed by a forward move, and the bird is now at this position in D4. So now the bird is going to eat the corn. So when it eats the corn, it can perform 2 moves. So its goal is to keep marching towards the nest, and we are in the right direction. So our moves can be forward and forward again, because I have 2 moves. I can move 2 steps. So after eating this corn, it's gonna move 2 steps forward. So 1 and 2. So it's gonna be at this position after it eats the first corn. So now it's again at a corn square. So when it eats the corn, it's going to perform the moves that you have selected for the corn, which is forward and forward. So it eats the corn and moves here forward, and it reaches its destination. This is the game objective and this is how you play it. Now let's look at a scenario where you might have selected the wrong moves for the bird, and let's see how it ends up getting caught by the fox. So here I have chosen the moves right and forward for the worm and left and forward for the con. So when the game begins, the bird is in C4 facing north. It eats the worm and turns right and does a forward move and ends up in the D4 cell, which is the con square. And the direction of the bird now is still facing east. But now you have asked the bird to eat the con and perform a left move followed by a forward move. So when it eats the con, it does a left move, faces north and moves one step forward to end up in D3, which is outside the trail, which is filled with worm and con. So a fox which is wandering outside this trail ends up catching your bird. In this way, one wrong move will get the bird caught by the fox. So now let's submit our moves and see what Alexa thinks about our selection. Alexa, open Hungry Birds.
Select your first move for the worm.
Right,
Please select your second move for the worm.
forward,
Please select your first move for the corn.
forward,
Please select your second move for the corn.
forward.
Are you ready to submit your selection?
Yes.
Yay! You won. Do you want to play another game?
No.
Goodbye.
And there you go. Alexa thinks our selection is right. Good luck and keep playing Hungry Birds.